All right, everybody. It's Tape Don't Lie. We're back once again. It's a great week. Big win for the Raiders. So we're excited to have this episode. Want to welcome all you guys back. It's Marcus Johnson. It is B.D. Williams. We are Tape Don't Lie. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. We want to thank all the subscribers. I think we're over 650 now. So we want to appreciate all you guys, all the feedback, all the love that you guys
Yeah.
have been giving us. It's been a quick little rise here. So I mean, we appreciate you guys enjoying the show. Spread the word to everybody. You got any other Raiders fans you want to share this with? Go ahead and share this with them, and let them know that how you feel about the show, so we can keep growing this. Right. Um,
The
Make sure you
coolest part
follow.
about it, the
Go
coolest part
ahead.
about it, Marcus, is these people hitting us up on social media, asking for certain plays, like for us to cover certain plays. So that's cool, man. You guys are really
Yeah.
listening. We
Yeah.
appreciate that. We
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Exactly. Yeah. We definitely want to, this show is for you guys. So we definitely want to help you. If you have a certain play you want to see, go ahead and hit us up. Let us know. You got anything that you want to look at, or your certain player you want to look at, make sure you let us know. And we could try to get that up on here for you. And, maybe give a little shout out as well for picking out
Yeah.
those plays.
And
All
search the
right.
description if you want our Twitter handles, other ways that you can find the content. Just search our Twitter description. It's going to be at BD Williams 18 at the Mark John NFL on Twitter.
Mhm.
So yeah, check that out.
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead. Check us out on the Twitter handles as well. And it was a big week. We got a 34-24 win over the Saints. This is how we do it every week. I chart the offense. BD goes over the defense. It was a great week, especially offensively. I mean, defense was all right. I mean, they only allowed 24 points. Let's say that. Let's just positivity. Only 24 points, right? It's
Right.
positivity there. Uh, there were some bad numbers on defense. Offense was really really good, but there's also some things that a little bit after our goal tape we'll call out just on a little side conversation. But today I'm gonna be going over the passing offense, because the passing offense is what really won this game. It was very special. What you gonna be going over to BD today?
Yeah, we'll go over the defense. In coming weeks, Marcus and myself will alternate breaking down individual players, but until we have enough film to really see who all these guys are, especially the young guys, we're going to give kind of broad strokes, talk about some themes that we've seen. So I'll show you guys the defense, some things that they did well, and some problem areas that I think have been popping up on the tape.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into this. Let's get into a little bit of this passing offense. All right, it was a beautiful day for the passing offense. They're able to control the ball. I mean, the time of possession was awesome. They were able to move the football at will through the air. And one of those reasons was, we're going to go over this a little bit, is the way they attacked Derek Carr. I talked about this on the previous show, that how good John Gruden and Derek Carr are against man coverage. It's basically something that Gruden really specializes in. He dials it up against man coverage. He's able to do rub routes, different things like that, different ways to get this team going. So it is a specialty he has. And against the blitz, Derek Carr is really good too. I talked about that a little bit on the pregame show, and we saw a lot of blitzing. They blitzed Derek Carr 17 times according to Pro Football Focus, and Derek Carr was able to get the ball out quick, find his reads. He knew exactly where to go because he's knowing this offense. He's in complete control right now, so he looks like he's in for a huge year, right? If he can keep this up and he can keep everything going. So let's go ahead and get into some of these plays. One play I really wanted to break down here is the deep ball with Henry Ruggs. I know a lot of people are a little bit worrisome about the deep ball not matching, right? And it is something to call out. It is something to call out here that the deep ball is not matching. But once again, I talked about this earlier. I think Henry Ruggs has an issue with tracking the football a little bit, and he's not running the correct routes right now. And I think he has to clean that up. And I don't know if he's ever going to be good at tracking the football. And I think the Raiders have to kind of start to understand that maybe he's just not Deshaun Jackson, right? Yes, he has the speed. Yes, he can get open deep, and he runs good routes on deep routes, but it's going to be a work in progress between him and Derek Carr is if he's not running the routes correctly like he needs to be. So let's first go over this play here, right? So we got 11 personnel here. That's a nice wrinkle that Derek John Gruden got there. He's got Brian Edwards in the background, right? And then we're going to have Ruggs is going to be running the corner route, right? And then Renfro, he's going to be doing a hitch route underneath. I mean, it's kind of it's more of a deeper version of the smash concept here, which you're going to see later. What you'll see from Henry Ruggs is that he kind of flattens this route out, right? It's a little flat. It's just way too flat. And he's supposed to be going towards the pylon on the corner route. You're always taught on a corner route, you run towards the pylon, right? And he's open, he's getting open, and if he runs towards the pylon, he's probably able to adjust to the football a lot better and catch this football. So it wasn't really a bad throw from Derek, but it was more about Henry Ruggs cutting this route off way too early.
Yeah, and there's so many details here that it is impossible for like us to like know with any certainty of the exact like thing that Henry Ruggs is being
Exactly.
coached to do here. But there's obviously
Hmm.
a miscommunication. Carr is thrown into the end
Yeah.
zone. Ruggs is running towards the sideline, short of the end zone. And so you're right. But I just want to say it's worth it, even if we're not completing these. It's worth it to throw them all the time to keep them honest.
Yes.
You know.
100%. Right. 100%. I 100% agree with that. They have to keep throwing these balls, right? Just like against the Patriots this week. Uh, I mean, I believe we're going to see some man coverage. You never know with Bill Belichick. I mean, he changes every week. You never know. He changes based on the matchup. So we'll see what might happen. I mean, the way they dissected this man coverage this week, who knows if we'll see that this week? I don't know. I mean, last week, sorry, they dissected it last week on Monday night. Who knows if we'll see it this week? So it's going to be something to look out for, right? So let's get to the next D ball, which I know this is a big one Derek Carr talked about after the game, right? So right here we got this is 12 personnel on this one. So you see Foster Moreau, we got Darren Waller, uh, and that is Nelson Aguilar. And then at the bottom here, that's Zay Jones, right? And then we got Josh Jacobs in the backfield. This is 2nd and 10. And this is a play that was dissected. You saw online, people were telling, "Oh, Carr's done. Put in Mariota." Blah 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 blah. After this play went down, everybody was frustrated, right? Even I was frustrated. I was like, "Man, you definitely got to see this." But we're gonna break this down a little bit. One thing I want to point out before I go over this is that safety is Marcus Williams. Okay, that's Marcus Williams. So if you don't know who Marcus Williams is, go ahead, make sure you check that out because I think this is a key factor part of this play. Like there's small things that you won't see all the time, and you can't figure out like why is a quarterback not pulling this trigger, but sometimes it's the player is why the quarterback's not pulling this trigger. So let's go ahead and break this down. We're gonna have an out and up from Darren Waller, and then what we're gonna have from Nelson Aguilar is the crossing route, which I want to talk about that too as we go through this play. So let's go ahead and run this. Out and up. See, all right, stop it there. You got Darren Waller wide open, right? And Derek Carr, he has to be able to step into this throw, right? And he really can't step into this throw because of Denzel Good being pushed back into him. Okay. Now, you could say Derek Carr should trust his arm, right? He's got a big cannon. He should be able to get that ball out there. But once again, that is Marcus Williams. Okay. So if let's just say he just tries to toss that out there and he underthrows it, Marcus Williams is going to pick that off. He's going to flip his hips. He's athletic. He's one of the best safeties in the NFL. He's going to flip his hips. He's going to pick that off if Derek Carr underthrows that. So I kind of understood why Derek Carr didn't go there. It's frustrating, but I think it's what was more egregious on this play is how he misses Nelson Aguilar on the second read. Now, he's got the arm talent to get this one out there. And even without a separation, I think if he underthrows this one to Nelson Aguilar, man, he's still got a chance to maybe come back to this ball. Nelson Aguilar tracks the ball well in the air. I think Nelson Aguilar makes a play on this ball. I mean, you could make the joke is you get to catch it, but whatever you want to do. But I really feel like that was the more egregious part of this play is that Derek Carr didn't reset his feet and hit Nelson Aguilar. It's fine.
Yeah.
I understand that because, like I said, go ahead, BD.
Well, I'm guessing that Edwards is primary read on this, but it's probably Zay Jones running that over route towards the same sideline. That's the number two read, and then the pass protection is probably breaking down, and that Aguilar
Hmm.
is a glance. He's just supposed to peek
Yeah.
over there before he comes
Hmm.
down and finds the check downs Foster on Josh Jacobs on the underneath stuff.
Yeah.
So if the protection is good here, I think we're gonna see him try to air that one out. But I think
Hmm.
by the time that he's getting to that read where he's looking at Zay Jones, I'm guessing that's when the pocket started breaking down on him.
And you're talking about Zay Jones on the drag on the dig route, correct?
No, no, I'm talking. So I'm not talking. I'm saying. I'm sorry. Um, Waller on the out and up one, Zay Jones
Yeah.
on the over route, or the dig route two,
Okay.
peak at Aguilar going across before he comes down and
Hmm.
checks down. But I think that by the time he's getting to that peak, he starts feeling the pressure, and he's not able, because I don't think that's number two. I don't think that's the second read. Not at least from the
Yeah.
playbooks that I've seen from Gruden.
Yeah. I definitely understand what you're saying. Like the dig is the number two, right? He comes back to the dig, which is not there. But I mean, he starts to feel the pressure a little bit. But I just feel like sometimes you just got to put that ball up there. He's got to trust his arm. That's kind of how I feel like. I think he has so much arm talent. I'm gonna go over a player later on. He just has so much arm talent to me that I mean, you got to trust your arm sometimes, and I think that you have to believe that you can get that ball out there. That's got to be a belief in your head. You can't always worry about having your mechanics to be perfect all the time. To make throw, especially in the NFL, your mechanics aren't going to be perfect all the time to make throws. Trust his arm and get that ball out there a little bit. Maybe I'm being a little too critical, but just what I believe a little bit.
It would certainly be more fun to watch.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like maybe this is it is. I don't know, but I just like if you believe in your arm, you know what I mean. I feel like that he can make some more plays if he believed in it. Like if he believed like I can make any throw at some point, you know. But maybe he's being coached out of that. I don't know. We don't understand. We don't know what's going on in the background. Maybe he's being coached you know, to be safe and make sure that you're everything's set and you
Oh,
try to force the football and
that's
all those things. You know
100.
what I mean?
That's 100% verified though. That's not a maybe. That's Gruden's thing.
You know?
Gruden would hate to see an interception because he just wants to call all the plays. Okay, so that means there's plays that he cannot call if you throw an interception. So don't do that to the man.
Yeah.
And that's his thing. He talks about it in the QB Academy and everything like that. So yeah, I mean that's what Derek Carr is being told to do is just protect the football at all costs.
Exactly. And what I really like about this game plan, when they went deep, right, it still opened everything up. It still allowed everything underneath to be opened up, and we see the short game start to work. The short game was excellent throughout this game. They targeted Waller a whole bunch, did a lot of good looks, throwing to Darren Waller. Then they got a mixture of some hitches and some quick throws when Derek Carr was facing the blitz and there was a little bit of pressure there here and there. He was able to find the reads and find the opening. He had a great play with Nelson Aguilar too. That was awesome. He had some other different looks that he had during blitzes where he was able to read it correctly, get rid of the ball quickly, and Derek Carr is very good pre-snap and reading the field well before he you know basically
Right,
pre-snap he does really well
pre-snap.
reading
Yeah.
everything. He's great with his great with protections, all of that great stuff. So blitzing Derek Carr is always dangerous. I still don't know why they did this all game and why they did it in the second half. I don't understand that after the first half kind of blitz of them going up and down the field, but they kept doing it and Derek Carr kept eating them alive, right? So let's talk about this. A big throw was his touchdown to Zay Jones, right? So this is definitely the smash concept right here. This is a big part of John Gruden's offense. The smash concept, of course, is you'll have Jalen Richard, who'll be running basically a stick route. It could be could come inside based on the leverage. Could go outside based on the leverage, right? But you always have Zay Jones, who is inside. Who'll be running the corner route, which corner route towards the pylon, like we talked about earlier, right? Uh, and this is a concept that Derek Carr, every once in a while, sometimes he might make the wrong read on this, but most of the time he does read this really well and make the correct play. I know BD, you had a comment about this play about something that you saw before in this play
Yeah.
from running against the Jets.
Yeah, well, if you remember the play where Hunter Renfro punctured his lung,
Yeah,
this is on the same exact concept, same side of the field, in the red area. And he had the same kind of look where the corner's coming up, and instead of letting it go into the to the pylon on the deep throw, he threw it underneath right into double coverage and got Hunter Renfro hurt. So I think that this
exactly.
play just kind of shows we might be seeing the Derek Carr that we want to see now.
100%, 100%. Right. And this is a great read by Derek. He's able to read Marshawn Lattimore, so that's who he's reading. He's reading Marshawn, right? Because if Marshawn Lattimore goes deep, and
Right.
he keeps dropping. That's what I want to say. If he keeps dropping, he's gonna go to Jalen Richard. If he stays in the area at where he's at right now, he's gonna be throwing to Zay,
Right.
and then he throws a great throw to Zay,
Yeah.
right?
That's the
Low and
read.
outside,
That's the read.
right?
And yeah, and right, a good throw. Good throw.
That and the low and outside throw is why I love it, because if he doesn't, based on how Marcus Williams, once again, which I said he's a great safety, is coming. If he keeps this ball high, Marcus Williams is knocking this ball down from the position that he's at. But the low, right? Low, good placement, allows Zay Jones to box him out a little bit on the low throw. Great catch, touchdown. So that was beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Right. And the short game, it kept going. They kept working on the short game, and they kept definitely moving the ball easily, easily. And Darren Waller had a big game, right? And I wanted to call out this play because it's kind of funny. This play actually right here is the play that Chris Sims couldn't get out. You've seen that video, Chris Sims? He's like,
Uh, okay, yeah, I know what you're saying.
and he can't get his words together. He has no idea what's going on.
Right.
Uh, and Gruden keeps yelling at him.
Green right X, shift the Viper right.
Green right X.
Green right X, shift the Viper right. 382 X stick looky.
Here we go, guys. Green right X. Shift the Viper right. 382 Y stick looky. I'm one. Ready? X stick looky. I'm one.
Yeah, this is it. This is a Viper X, right? Now we're not gonna have the 380. It still could be 382 because that's a protection, right? But we're not gonna have the stick routes on Derek Carr's left side, right? So basically, what what he calls is 382 stick X looky. Now, what's different here is that up here they're running double 7 China, right? So basically, what that is you'll have basically you have the outside receiver who'll be running a dig, not a dig, sorry, a quick in route. Hunter Renfro, who'll be running a quick in route too, and then you'll see Henry Ruggs in this inside slot. He'll be running a corner route. Now, based on this call here, what Derek Carr is reading is if it's single high, he's
Right.
going to his left. If it's too high, he's going to his right, right?
So
And
we got
since we see
a
too
man
high,
beater on one side and a zone beater on the other side, right?
exactly. So if it was single high, he would be looking at Henry Ruggs. So because you're gonna watch this play, and you'll be like, Henry Ruggs is open. But if it was a different coverage, he would be looking at Henry Ruggs. But since it is too high, he is looking to his right. Now, the route, the 382 stick X, 382 stick X looky, right? Looky basically is Darren Waller will be running a choice route here. So he's either going to basically, based on the leverage of Malcolm Jenkins, he would either run a slant route, right? Or he's going to come back outside, which we see he ends up getting a nice little chunk of yak after this route, right? So that's the read here. It's just funny that I saw this play. I was like, oh, that's this play Chris Sims couldn't figure out. So I thought that was pretty awesome. But we'll go ahead and run this real quick, and you'll see that he has the option to go either side. Outside leverage, he'd run the slant. He's running inside leverage. He runs the out route.
Right.
Boom.
You're always wrong on that play as a defender.
Exactly. So that was a great play, and they were able to kill them with the blitz, hitting them with Darren Waller all game. Easy money. Derek Carr was able to get the ball out quick. I still don't understand why the Saints kept blitzing them. You figured that they would have stopped eventually, but then they were focusing on stopping the run so much too that they kind of just were like, we're going to stop Jacobs all game. But I figured that eventually they would be like, let's stop Carr, and I don't understand why they never took that opportunity. So another thing that I loved in this game was the play calls that John man-to-man coverage, and that's what I was talking about. John Gruden cooks against man-to-man. I don't know what it is, but he just has a great week when he sees a man-to-man defense that he knows he's getting that week. He just probably salivates at the mouth because he knows he's about to rip these guys open. And this play to Foster Moreau is the perfect example. So this is basically a rub route, and you're gonna have Foster Moreau running the wheel here, right? And this is 11 personnel. You're gonna have Foster Moreau running the wheel route, and then you have Brian Edwards just kind of just basically running a slant, but it's all about the rub here. I mean, this play is always going to Moreau here, and they're basing it on the man coverage right here because we got single high here, so you basically know that's either cover 3, cover 1, right?
Yeah.
But they got man coverage here. They figure they got something to work with this, especially with the wheel route, right? So the rub route is what opened this up, and then of course this is a beautiful throw. And as I was talking about Derek Carr's arm talent, it's just beautiful stuff. All right.
Yeah, I like the switch release because Edwards ends up running a seam from the outside, and Moreau runs the fade from the inside position. Raiders did that a lot last year, on Renfro especially. So yeah, I mean that's a big part of Gruden's game plan. No lie, Blum. No lie. I'm not making this up. I was watching the broadcast live, and I see single high, and I was like, they gotta throw outside on this, and they did.
Yeah, it was a great game plan, bro. But like I said, I just don't like, why did they keep blitzing Carr? Like, I don't understand why they kept doing it. It made no sense to me, to be honest. He's good against the blitz. Pre-snap. He's good with protections. I mean, these things. It's year 7. He's been in the league for a while. Like every team that blitzes him, he kills him. I never. That's why the Chiefs and the Chargers and the Broncos, they don't blitz Derek Carr. I don't know if you noticed that, BD, but you rarely see the Chiefs ever blitz Derek. You rarely see the Chargers blitz Derek. I know the Chargers don't blitz a lot anyways, but I mean, they're not blitz. They're definitely not Derek Carr, And a lot of teams
for the Chargers and Broncos, at least, you got Von Miller and Bradley Chubb on one side. You got Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram. You don't got a blitz. You got a 4-man pressure at all times. So
yeah,
the AFC West is definitely built in a specific way, I would say, across the board. I think before Von Miller got hurt and when Khalil Mack was still in the division, it was like these are the best pass rushers in the NFL all in one division. So yeah, I think that's another reason why we don't see Carr get blitzed that often is because all these teams have a great pass rush, minus the Raiders, of course.
Yeah, that is a good point. I think it also goes to the factor that he's really good against it too, and if you know him, you know that that's part of the game plan. You kind of have that idea. Like usually a lot what we see is with the Titans game is a great example last year. The Titans were coming after them a lot at the beginning of that game. And then the second half, they were like, okay, they put up 21 points on us. Maybe we should back up a little bit and adjust. And then it was totally different offense. And it just amazed me that the Saints, they kind of stuck with that game plan. They're like, we're going to attack, stop the run. These guys are going to run the ball on us. And They got picked apart a little bit. To be honest, they got picked apart. Derek Carr had a great game. I do a success rate, and uh, the Raiders with their success rate on offense with passing, they had a 68%. So they were 68% in pass success rate. So that means they were tearing them up, and in every personnel they were doing really good. I mean, even 11 they're at 67%. 12 they're at 50%. Um, so I mean they were tearing them up, man. It was pretty. It was pretty good to see, but they're not going to see those blitzes every week. They're not going to see that man coverage every week. So it'll be interesting to see what they get this week from Bill Belichick. So
Yeah.
it was a good showing though.
We'll,
Good
we'll, we'll,
showing.
yeah, we'll jump into that on Friday too.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that, guys.
Uh, all right. So a couple other things I wanted to add. Just looking at the offensive line overall, I do think this team has a little bit of a run blocking problem, and just from going from week 1 and week 2 combined, it's a little bit of an issue. Uh, I do think John Simpson, he struggled a little bit. Yeah, I mean, Richie Incognito's hurt. That's a little worrisome. You hope Sam Young comes back. Hope Trent Brown comes back so Denzel Good can move back inside. But I think John Simpson struggled a little bit. He
Are you
struggled.
gonna tell him? Are you gonna tell him the main culprit though? Don't be afraid. They all love Raider Nation loves Rodney Hudson. But
Yes.
going back to last year, he's been the worst run blocker.
I was gonna get there. VD. I was gonna get there. I'm not scared.
I look, but I just wanted to. I want to jump in front of a bullet for you in case these guys start coming at our necks. You feel me?
I know. There's just certain players you can't slander. I know, but I mean, Rodney Hudson, he's struggling this year too, man. He struggled against Carolina a little bit with Derek Brown. He's struggling in his run game. I mean, Colt Miller didn't play very well against the run this week. He was awesome in pass protection. So, I mean, which is a great plus because most of the time it's the opposite with him for the past couple of years. This year, I mean, against the Panthers, he was a good run blocker too. So I'm not going to go at him as much because, I mean, he did his job this week in pass protection, and he did his job the previous week in pass protection and run blocking. This week was a little different. It wasn't very good. I just think if Josh Jacobs goes down, this team's in trouble.
Yeah.
They're in trouble running the football. So they
Well-
gotta clean that up. I don't know
Well,
what
how
it
about
is.
this? Everyone on the Raider Nation loves this stat. How many forced missed tackles and expected yards added per carry and everything like that. You don't have good stats like that if your offensive line is amazing. Like what? So I know that everyone thinks Raider Nation that the offensive line is like infallible, but like Josh Jacobs is having to make a lot out of nothing. On way too many of his carries. Obviously, we got some examples of good run blocking, but it's not like consistently, game after game after game, like dominant run blocking. It's like, here and there, we got some dominant run blocking games.
Yeah.
But the rest of it is Josh Jacobs making guys miss in the backfield and, doing some.
He cleans a lot of things up.
Right.
There's a good stat, coming with the avoided tackles and all that stuff. Next Gen Stats, they have a stat called expected yards per carry.
Right.
And last year, Jacobs' expected yards per carry was 3.9.
Right.
So if he was just going completely off the offensive line, he would have had a yards per carry of 3.9. His yards per carry was 4.8.
Right.
So that tells you that he makes the offensive line go a little bit too. That can't be. That has to be factored in, and especially in this game too. I mean, there is some runs that he shouldn't have got 7 yards with, or that he got 7 yards.
Right.
And sometimes they're already in the backfield, and a lot of that has to do
that
with.
Was a lot of like almost every other run play we were seeing that from the offense.
Yeah, and a lot of that has to do with what John was doing this game too. They ran a lot of 22 personnel this week. They ran 22 personnel 16% of their snaps. Right, 11 personnel was the most, 46, 12 was 23, but they ran 22 16% of the time. Their run success rate was 25% there, so he just did that too much. And the worst run plays that you'll see on tape this week were all in 22. So
right.
I think they kind of gave away a tell there a little bit this week with that. And the Saints were going all out to stop the run. So, I mean, they begged Derek Carr to beat him, and he did. So, I mean, doesn't say Derek Carr's not that bad. I mean, I thought that was a little weird that they kind of came up with that game plan. We'll see this week, though.
like
We'll see.
like he's a rookie quarterback, Like we're gonna
That's kind of what they. That's
throw
kind
the
of what they
house at
did.
him.
It was like throw the house at him like he's a rookie, and he's like, okay, here you go. There's Nelson Aguilar with nobody on him.
Right,
And,
right.
and another thing I want to point out for the offense too is that how much smarter these receivers are this year is amazing. Like that play with Nelson Aguilar when he makes that dude miss right away. I mean, that is all him reading the zone. And he
Right.
saw the blitz coming too. He knows it. Derek Carr knows it. He was able to stop on a dime because he knows where Derek Carr is going to throw him the football. And he's never even been in this offense for how long? But that's a veteran that
Right.
knows how to read the field, especially for him in the slot. That's how he makes his living. He saw that blitz too. Him and Derek Carr on the same page. That helped Derek Carr a lot. I mean, last year we saw guys running into zones and stuff like that. Nobody stopping.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
Renfro had a great play too, where he saw the wall defender, and I really believe that was an over route that was called, and he saw the wall defender, and he stopped it. And him and Derek Carr on the same page, like stuff like that is going to help Derek this year, and that's why they're able to beat the blitz a lot because these wide receivers are a whole lot smarter.
That's something that people don't understand. Wide receivers converting routes, meaning like what you're talking about, they're reading the coverage and then running the route based on the leverage. So it might turn like a post into a dig or, et cetera down the line there.
Yeah,
But you're not going to know, and you're not, just from watching the TV copy, obviously, and we don't know for sure on all of these, right?
yeah,
But the best NFL offenses do that, and so you have to have guys who are all on the same page.
exactly.
And so yeah, that's what happens when there's continuity there for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, there was the offense was humming, man. Especially the passing offense was great this week, and it really shows what they could be. And fans should be excited about that. Fans should be excited. So I really hope you guys enjoyed that breakdown a little bit. BD, so let's get into this defense. They had a little bit of some leaks this week. That's what I would call it. I'll call it they're a little leaky. They gave up like 7.4 yards per play or something like that. To
Yeah,
you know,
you definitely have the more fun job here charting the offense, I gotta say, but
okay.
yeah, and we'll talk about the defense. All right, so yeah, I mean, we'll get into it. A lot of Raiders fans, they look at the score. They look at maybe some of the struggles that in stretches that the Saints had. They want to be happy about the defensive performance, but honestly, and this is just my opinion. I think that the Saints had a really bad game. They left a lot of things out there on the table for their offense. So, there were some third down stops, and a lot of those third down stops were drops. Right here, like this one to Traquan Smith, Eric Harris lighting him up. So I definitely think that maybe on another Sunday, the Saints would be able to convert some of these against the Raiders defense. You know, so that being said, there a couple of good things, that we saw. Obviously like this Nicholas Morrow interception here was great. Again, the pressure made that happen because Drew Brees is not going to just throw that into that spot if he sees it, but his process was sped up because the rush was coming at right. And
Mm-hmm.
actually, through my charting so far, I haven't finished. I know you finished charting the offense. I haven't finished charting the defense.
Yeah.
Um, but Nicholas Morrow has been fantastic in coverage in this game. So, just a real quick aside, it's really funny that we brought in Littleton and Kwiatkowski, and everyone's talking about, okay, we got some guys who are cover linebackers, and it's actually Morrow with the first interception. That's kind of funny. And then there's this one too. This was a great blitz look, definitely
Yeah.
sped up Drew Brees' process here, and this is something I talked about on Twitter. The Raiders did a good job of disguising their intentions on this play, going from single high to like a two trap coverage, but we just see the receiver drop the ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that I think people need to be aware of. a lot of these could have been third down conversions, and they weren't. And I'm not necessarily sold that it was everything to do with the Raiders and a lot to do, or just as much to do with the Saints kind of dropping the ball,
Okay.
unintended. Now, some things that I think we got to be concerned about is in this defense, the amount of plays that were converted over the middle, especially when the Raiders are blitzing or when they're getting drawn in on play action. This one, they're getting drawn in on play action here. Damon Arnett's in man coverage at the top of the screen, and he has no inside help. I mean, you're in that kind of in this kind of coverage, single high man, your help is in the middle of the field. All right. But unfortunately for Damon Arnett, he's playing with good outside leverage. And, his help defender, LaMarcus Joyner, has what's called a cave technique against the split flow of the backfield. So he is actually the man who's supposed to become the rat here. And, he's just late helping out Damon Arnett in coverage. So Damon Arnett technically played that really well, staying outside leverage, but there's no rat in the middle of the hole. The next one is a blitz, and this is just something that Paul Gunther's single high blitzes, like they always give up the goods over the middle, and it's really frustrating to watch. Especially when I'm going through and charting, because like as soon as I see a single high blitz look, I'm like, all right, guaranteed money over the middle here, And this is an example, and here's, I'll give some evidence to why I know this. First, if you look at the top of the screen, you have Abram and Arnett, and they're lined up, and it looks like they're in man coverage, but then the receivers switch. So they switch, but when they switch, they buy the man, meaning they've taken them. They're not zone dropping, right? The receivers switch release, and bam, they trigger down and go after it, right? So it's called a man match. All right.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at the bottom of the screen now with LaMarcus Joyner and Trayvon Mullen, we got a similar kind of thing happening here where the outside man goes inside, and Trayvon Mullen thinks, okay, because we're switching these off, LaMarcus Joyner will nail down on that, and I'll run over the top of number 2. Okay, but they end up both taking number 2 and just letting this outside receiver on the dig get completely open, right? And again, it's late in the down, so it could be that the rules are, once they get past a certain point, they got to buy man to man. So it could be Trayvon Mullen's mistake on this, could be Marcus Joyner's mistake on this, but all we know is someone's completely wide open. There, a mistake has been made, and this happens a lot in single high blitzes, especially in Paul Gunther's defense.
Let me go back to that play. Let me ask you a question. What is Trayvon like supposed to? Because since he's man matching, is that why he goes backwards on this play? Because of the route that is coming up.
Well, I mean, it's clear that he thinks he needs to take this, and he's probably given a call right now to LaMarcus Joyner, right? And it's just late, right? But
Okay.
and again, it could be that like if they say, okay, if they stem past 7 yards, it's man to man no matter what. But if the release happens within like the first 5 yards, then and who knows what the exact rules are. But there's obviously a miscommunication here. Trayvon Mullen thinks LaMarcus Joyner's got him. LaMarcus Joyner thinks Trayvon Mullen's got him. And so the pattern matching or the man matching doesn't end up working on that play.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
This is something, it took me a while to catch this. But they're playing cover 3 here now. And when I was watching the broadcast copy, I was like, how is it possible? How is it possible that someone is this wide open, right? So this is something that I really wanted to come back in and figure out what happened. And now, first of all, it is a blitz. So LaMarcus Joyner is blitzing off the edge. So we got a 3 deep, 3 under zone defense on top of the blitz. Okay, so it's a 5-man pressure, 6-man coverage, 3 deep, 3 under. Now, what I'm pretty sure is supposed to happen here is, and this would be very encouraging if we're going to start seeing that the Raiders adjust like this. But Eric Harris up here in the middle of the screen when he sees the over route, okay, especially against like a Yankee concept, the way that the best NFL defenses, the absolute best NFL defenses adjust to this.
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo Bills being probably the best at it. Tennessee also does this really well.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see, heavy cover three teams.
Yep.
They will nail down with the free safety on the crosser, and then this corner, who was on the outside third, would then run to the post and to help out, with the outside corner. And
Yep.
they're just late. They're just late on this, and definitely the reaction needs to be happening a lot sooner than it did, because we
Mm-hmm.
see then Eric Harris is almost like a basketball play. Like, do you run over the screen? Do you run on top of the screen? Takes a bad angle, and then we get into a little foot race here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But regardless, this reaction needs to happen sooner.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like he's got to see that sooner, because you could tell that Trayvon's about to go over top, because that's basically how we're playing it these days, and the Raiders are playing some more cover three. It's actually funny. The Daniel Jones touchdown. I don't know if everybody watches Monday Night Football. Daniel Jones had a touchdown on the Yankee against the Steelers, and Joe Hayden was supposed to be what Trayvon Mullen's doing, which is go deep with the post route, and he didn't get there. So it's interesting. A lot of teams are. You're right. A lot of teams are playing it that way.
Right, and that would be modern NFL cover three adjustment, and we have not yet seen the Raiders even attempt it. This is the first time I'm seeing it on film. Again, they're running a lot more cover three, because you can't really do this in cover one. You can do it in cover three because you're off. So this is a modern adjustment, but again, the execution isn't great. We're giving up yards over the middle, especially against single high, where you're not supposed to give up yards over the middle when you got a safety in the middle of the field.
Man.
Yeah, so, and we can talk about Harris after this video segment.
yeah, we'll talk about that, because they're playing cover three, so I have some. I got something for you. We'll talk about Harris after that, since we're playing a lot of cover three, because there's a cover three guy out there just sitting on this couch. just saying.
The other thing I think that the Raiders really struggled with was picking up screens, dump offs, stuff out of the backfield to the flat, and limiting those, and stopping those from turning into big gains here. Okay. So on this one, LaMarcus Joyner makes a really fatal mistake here. When he sees this screen, he goes and he fits inside, for some reason, inexplicably, inside of this tackle who's coming out to block him. Okay, he should be jumping outside of that and at least attempting to force Alvin Kamara to cut back to Nicholas Morrow, who's in pursuit. All right, and it makes Nicholas Morrow's run so much harder and so much of a longer run when Marcus Joyner does that. So, and that's just like, you got to understand your leverage and you got to do the right thing. I mean, and that goes back to like playing Pop Warner. All right. This is another example here. This is actually funny because this is the first play that the Saints ran after halftime. And the last play they ran before halftime was the interception to Nicholas Morrow, right? Mm-hmm. And on that play, he had a very similar concept to what's happening on this play. Inside receiver runs a post, and the outside receiver runs a dig. Okay, and they're in cover three in both instances. Mm-hmm. And I think a little bit what happened here was Nicholas Morrow felt that happen. Okay. And was a little late to react to this one coming down into the flat. So they caught him. They're like, okay, yeah, he's going to we're going to throw an interception to him. We're going to come right back at him with a similar look, but catch him, with his hand in the cookie jar, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And then I think that there's like a little bit of a technical issue here. In my opinion, again, I will not ever claim to know exactly how these guys are being coached. But if you watch this on the broadcast, I think this is just a little more clear. This is why I added it in here. Mm-hmm. Nicholas Morrow needs to shorten his stride, but actually accelerate through the outside shoulder of Alvin Kamara. Yeah, what he does instead is he comes to balance with way too much space in between him. Okay, and once he
Mhm.
stops his feet, it's a wrap. Right? I mean, we're talking about Alvin Kamara here, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know exactly how Paul Gunther's coaching this, but I think, Nicholas Morrow is more athletic than this. He can't come to balance. He's just got to run straight through that guy at full speed and, make him freeze instead of him just, taking off on you, right?
Mhm.
And I think that the best defenses do that. You'll see their force players. You'll see their guys coming in and just trying to, ricochet off guys at 100 miles an hour, and making the ball carrier choose. Okay, do I take this hit, or do I stop, or what do I do? But instead, Nicholas Morrow is the one thinking about it.
Okay.
And and the Raiders just struggled with picking up stuff out of the backfield all game long. It was something that became a theme as the night wore on. It was probably, Drew Brees' best passes came to guys coming out of the backfield. This is a one that I struggle with 2 weeks in a row now. You got the best player on the offense completely unguarded, completely open. And I think that the Raiders you just got caught in a bad look here. They're playing Tampa too. So we got obviously the corners playing the flats, the outside linebacker and the nickel playing the vertical hook. And then this is Corey Littleton running the deep hole dropper in the Tampa 2, right? While the safeties play halves.
Yeah.
And that just leaves like a big space open in the middle of the field here. And so they run this little ankle route, and it's cash money for him going down. And I believe Alvin Kamara scored on the very next play.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wasn't the best showing in the world. Let's just say that. Wasn't impressive.
It wasn't impressive. And if they go up against a team that's, humming on all cylinders, like the Raiders offense was on Monday night,
Yeah.
they're going to be giving up more points than 24. If that's the kind of execution that, Raiders fans keep on seeing on defense, they'll be lucky to see 24, on the opponent's column.
Yeah, and they got a quarterback this week that looks like he's playing in his prime, especially after last week. He looks like he is ready to go, and he understands that offense, and he picked up that offense really quick. So he looks like he's ready to go, and that player is Cam Newton for sure. So they got to pick this up quickly. So we did want to talk about Eric Harris.
Yeah, just briefly. Just briefly.
Just briefly.
Yeah, so really, I think we knew that Eric Harris didn't have like this incredible athleticism.
Mhm.
Okay. And a lot of the plays that he was making last year, there was a lot of instinctiveness. There was a lot of anticipation that made up for maybe a lack of athleticism. And I
Yeah.
think that the vastly different coverages that the Raiders are actually, attempting this year, I think that has him back on a little bit of a learning curve. Because, again, they're running so much more cover three. And that's not an adjustment that he's ever had to do before in cover three,
Mhm.
that one that we were talking about before.
Yeah.
So I just think, little things like that, it seems like he's out of his comfort zone.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. If he's out of his if he's out of his comfort zone and you're gonna play him, maybe you shouldn't go to cover three. That's kind of my opinion. Like I think you got to play to your personnel. If he's not comfortable right now, and that's who you're going with,
Yeah.
then
And
you got to
I
move
will
it. You
say
got to do
this.
something around.
I
Yeah.
will say this. Abram hasn't looked like great in coverage, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But the difference is they tracked Abram's shoulder pads, and he's been the third fastest player in the entire NFL this year. He hit over 22 miles per hour. So
Yeah.
you can make up for, again, not being in your comfort zone, but you're an elite athlete moving faster literally than everyone on the field.
Yeah.
So some of his maybe struggles, again, this is a young player. He's literally playing that was his third NFL game that he's ever played in, John Abram, right?
Yeah.
But he doesn't look as bad in coverage just because he's so fast and so explosive, so decisive, right?
Yeah.
So it makes up for maybe, some things. But I think Eric Harris probably has given up just slightly more catches at this point than John Abram. Again, I haven't finished charting the entire game.
Yeah.
But, just like some of the range that Abram has, you can't teach that.
Yeah. And that is true. And I'll get the get a little Colin Cowherd on this, but I'll just say if we're playing cover three, man, there's a guy on the couch right now named Earl Thomas, and we're 2-0, and we look like that. Maybe we could do something. I mean, we're a little bit more intriguing now. I'm just saying, if you're gonna play cover three, I mean, you didn't do it last year, you didn't do it the year before, didn't do it with Cincinnati. You're playing cover three. There's some guy out there that can play free safety, and he would come down and he would see that what we saw on the Yankee concept earlier. He's gonna
Right.
come down, and his name's Earl Thomas. I'm just gonna put that out there. I
Yeah.
mean, if we're gonna do this, like, well, why not?
I
Like, why not
wouldn't.
take that chance?
I wouldn't be opposed. I wouldn't be upset about that. Clearly,
Right?
I don't think it happens, and the
I
reason why I
know,
don't think
but
it happens is because there's a lot of baggage with this dude right
I
now,
know he's
and
crazy.
I think Mike Mayock and John Gruden want guys who are 100% bought in on football, and Earl Thomas has a lot of things going on in his life, and they
I
don't want
know.
another AB fiasco.
I know, man.
So
But just watching that, and it was like, man, he just sit on the couch and be a perfect fit. But then but you got to put in like he's not a perfect fit in the locker room. Which, if you can't make it in the Ravens locker room, you know, like that's like one of the best locker rooms in. Like, like how do you get along with like John
right,
Harbaugh and all those guys, right?
right,
So I think that's part of the reason why he's not signed. Like if it was like the Jags or something, and he was like being late and stuff, he'd probably be picked up by now. But since it was the Ravens and their franchise and nobody plays when they leave, like Tony Jefferson's like still rooting for him, and wouldn't re-sign him, right? I think they released him. He's like, oh, he's rooting for Lamar still. That's the kind of
yeah,
locker room they have,
right.
and
Uh, you saw
Yep.
those former Ravens players talking about how Darren Waller would light them up in practice when he was on the
Yeah,
practice squad over there.
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool to see. They were like, Darren Wallace would give us like 250 yards and 10 catches in practice. He was a beast. You know, I love that. Any last thoughts here about week
No,
two?
no, no last thoughts, man. Just it was a great offensive game, great passing game. It's gonna be interesting how they adjust to what the Patriots gonna play them, and the offensive line. We got to wait and see how that's gonna look with the run blocking. But it was a great day for the passing offense. It was awesome.
Yeah, and I was thinking, I'll just say this before the game. I was thinking, Edwards, Ruggs, Renfro, one of these guys has to, be the difference maker, be the X factor, because we know Waller is going to be a big part of it. We know Jacobs
Hmm.
obviously is going to be a big part of it, but one of these other guys has to step up. And they each, like maybe they didn't have, one individually a big game, but collectively between the three of those guys, there were big plays being made. Go with
Hmm.
Zay Jones, go with Nelson Aguilar. So it's like all five of these wide receivers each had a moment. Maybe they didn't have great production, maybe they didn't have a dominant game, but they each had something going that really changed and tipped the scale. So as long as these guys keep on getting included in the game, it's gonna be tough for defenses for sure.
For sure, bro. I agree with that. All right, guys. So we appreciate you guys, coming in and watching us one more time. Like I said, hit subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hit subscribe once again. Follow me, D Mark John, at D Mark John NFL on Twitter. Follow BD at BD Williams 18 on Twitter, and make sure you guys follow us there. Hit the subscribe button. Once again, I'm gonna say it once again. Hit the subscribe button if this is your first time here. Check us out every single week. We'll be back this weekend. We got a good interview for the Patriots. We got from patspulpit.com. Give
Hmm.
us a little idea of what's going on with the Patriots, and we're going to give you a little idea of what we think, how they should handle the Patriots. So we'll be ready for that. So ready for that, guys, and hit subscribe one more time. I know I said it 5 times, but that's what I
thanks,
want you to do.
thanks for tuning in, Raider Nation.
All right, see you guys.